Hello, my name is Sébastien Bergougnoux. I've been working as a consultant or in consulting company in middleware technology for the 25 years, mainly in enterprise integration and then in iPaaS. I was an employee of TIBCO, Thomson Reuters, Atos in the past, also co-founder of FastConnect, acquired by Atos in 2014. And I'm co-founder and actually the CEO of Devoteam nexDigital since 2018. I've been speaker at Apidays already in one of the first session in 2012. Also, I'm a speaker, a regular speaker at Kafka Summit, Big Data Paris, Kong Summit, also organizer of Paris, Kong Paris meetups, MuleSoft Paris meetups as well, and recently a speaker at Workato Happy Hour. If you want to connect, you have the QR code to my LinkedIn account. Also at Devoteam, we are proud to publish every year a tech radar, which look at 100 technologies, have a kind of a deep dive into them and try to describe them and tell their maturity. So if you're interested in reading this document, also you can download it using this QR code. So today we will talk about what are the 5 or 6 pillars for choosing and having the right integration platform to automate the process you may have in your information system. So what are the actual challenge of integration? So we will start looking at them and then try to find solution to tackle those challenges. So first challenges for the CIOs, they are in charge of those challenges. The first challenge is how to access the data. They need to, the CIOs, they need to provide, when talking about accessing the data, simplicity and security. Simplicity in the way people can access the data within the company, within the information system, but also outside of the company for the customers and partners. Data needs to be accessible by anyone with the most easiest way possible. But it does not mean that you have to lower security and quality. Of course, it needs to be enforced also by the CIO. Second point is performance. It's also a challenge when accessing the data because the volumes of data are increasing every day, and people are exciting needs more and more quick access, more real-time access to those data. Data needs to be available everywhere at any time and multi-device. So you want to access data, for instance, if you want to have access to what are the products on the e-commerce website. You want to have access to this e-commerce website from your mobile phone, from your computer, maybe sometimes from your iPad, tomorrow from your Apple Watch. So yeah, data needs to be accessible everywhere, multi-device, and slow is the new down. It means that today we want to have the data in less than 1 or 2 seconds. If it takes more time, we will suppose that the system is down. Third point, agility. It's very difficult to imagine what the future will be 6 months from now, 1 year from now, 2 years from now. So the infrastructure that CIOs needs to put in place must be agile, able to adapt very quickly to business needs and constraints. Also, business are more and more looking for customization of the service they are using. So it needs to also be agile and modular enough to propose agility and customization. And the last point is also how to manage the pace of innovation. Innovation is coming at very quicker and more and more often. like Web3, generative AI. Generative AI was not here a year ago, and now it's everywhere. Web3 was there 2 years ago, and now it disappears. Maybe it will come back next year. So, yeah, you don't know what the next big thing will be, what your business will ask for. So you need to be ready, and then you need to have an agile platform to address your data, to address those new needs. And all this must be done also with governance and consistency all over the business unit you may have in the company. Second big challenge is digitalization and automation of user interaction. Two things. On one hand, companies are trying to have less and less human process and less human workflows, and try to automate these human processes and workflows. So you want to get rid out of you want to put the human out of those workflows. But on the other hand, what you also want to do is to have more and more interaction with your human end users. So on one hand, you want to remove the human, and then on the other hand, you want to have more interaction with him. So yeah, in one thing you want to do is to remove human tasks and automate human tasks, but also in the same time have more and more real-time interaction with users. Third challenges, the evolution of IT infrastructure. IT infrastructure is evolving slowly but surely. Something like 20 years ago, everything was very monolithic, and then early in the year 2000, we started to see distributed architecture, virtual machines, and distributed applications. In the 2010, 2020, microservices appeared, and service-oriented architecture as well. And today we are more and more talking about new technologies coming from the cloud, like serverless. And the CIOs, they need to not to have one of these technology one after the other, but all at the same time. In big companies, you still have monolithic application, you have distributed architecture everywhere, you have now mature microservices, and your developer are starting looking at serverless development and serverless application. So the CIOs, he needs to have the data being exchanged between all those kind of application, deployed on all those kind of infrastructure. So legacy is still here, but emerging technologies are also arriving very, very quickly. Fourth challenge is how to reduce impact. How to reduce financial impacts first. It means how to improve the operational efficiency. Also, how to be more and more competitive, meaning if you reduce your financial impact, you will be more competitive regarding the competition. You also need to have the right resource allocation, also to spend less money on operation and be more and more competitive. And resilience is also a very strong point of impact when you're talking about financial, because having a system failure can have a strong impact on your business, strong impact on your finance. So you will try to reduce as much as possible those failures. So resilience is very, very important, a very important way to reduce your impact, your financial impact. Other impact are green impact, ecological impact. So you want to reduce the environment impact of your IT infrastructure. There is also more and more regulation that will tend to also push you to reduce the impact you may have on the planet and the ecosystem. There is also a business impact when talking about ecology and green IT, because now the customer are asking more and more to have a green solution, green services, and this is very important to be able to provide those green services. And human, of course, people like you and me, we are more eager to work for a green and a company concerned by ecological impact than one who is not. So it's also very important when talking about talents, talking about human, and talking about the way you look from the outside. So these are the main 4 challenge that a CIO will need to address when talking about accessing and managing the data within the company. So what are the solutions? How do a CIO will be able to address those challenges? So what we propose is to build architecture based on 5 main pillars. I call them the 5 pillars of wisdom to remind the 7 pillars of wisdom from Lawrence of Arabia. So first pillar is to think data product and interface. It's what we used to call API first approach. So yeah, data put the way you will access your data as data product. Also think your IT system as a grid of service, reusable services that you will be able to reuse, to share, and maybe to sell. So it's coming from all the theories that was built during SOA years on service-oriented architecture. Also, what we recommend is to think cloud native. It does not mean that you will have to use all technologies coming from on the cloud, but it means that you want to use a technology that the cloud provider are using to be elastic, to be resilient. All those tools that Amazon, Google, Azure are using to build their infrastructure, build their cloud. This is a technology you want to use to have your infrastructure resilient, if not moving to the cloud, but at least use the same kind of technology. Also, what we encourage is to have an event-driven way of thinking the exchange between applications. You don't want to be, you don't want to have and to make point-to-point exchange. You want to avoid point-to-point connection between applications. In the past, there was this bus-oriented architecture. It was a good step coming from spaghetti-ware or point-to-point architecture, but it also has its limits because it's still a bottleneck. If you have a bus in the middle, if you have a pivot format in the middle, it can be a bottleneck. So what we are trying to do again is to really push a way of exchanging data the more efficiently, and the more efficiently is to consider that everything that happened in your IT infrastructure is an event. You want to be able to store those events and to replay those events to those who are interested in what happened in the event itself. So think event-driven. And the last pillar is to also promote a no-code, low-code approach. Why? Because we want to have the technology being usable by the most. And we want to encourage citizen developer, technological business analyst to use the technology to address the data and do their own use of the data, their own workflows. Those are the 5 pillars: data product, service grid oriented architecture, cloud native tools, and way of building your architecture, event driven when talking about communication between applications, and no code, low code approach when talking about development. And there is a sixth pillar, a very important one as well. It's observability. We strongly believe that observability is key if you want to have a successful exchange architecture. You need to be able to know where your order is when we are talking about an order to cash workflow. You want to know what is the status of hiring process. You want to know what's happening now in your information system, and also you want to be predictable. So if you want to be predictable, you need to be able to observe what's happening. You need to understand where the data are, where the messages are being exchanged, and where failure may happen as well. So observability is key. So what are the solutions? Technological solutions. So there's basically two schools. One is to use the good old coding tools and work in what I call here integration as code. It means building your own integration framework using a pro-code approach with the best of breed technology. It means developing your own microservices using a native language like Rust, Python, Java, deploy those microservices on contained infrastructure like Kubernetes, connect everything with a EDA platform like Kafka, secure your exchange with an API gateway or with service mesh, and of course, add supervision on top of that. There is, for instance, a few partners we are working with to propose those kind of infrastructure. So Kubernetes for everything related to microservice deployment, Confluent Kafka for as an EDA platform, open source EDA platform with an enterprise version, Kong with Kong API Gateway and Kong Mesh, so it's Kong Connect, the global platform providing both tools, and Datadog as a supervision and observability tool. Second choice you may have is to go instead of building everything yourself, buy a solution, buy a platform. So you will choose an iPaaS, or what I call an enterprise integration and automation platform, or EIAP. What an iPaaS provides, it's the following features: connectivity, mapping, routing, security. Also, most of the iPaaS solutions provide a no-code, low-code automation workflow designer with more and more Gen AI capabilities through Copilot. So you can use those designers, those workflow designers, and ask them to build your workflow, your automation workflow, just by describing them. Then also this solution needs to be cloud native. If you want them to be elastic, to be scalable, to be resilient, you have to check that yes, they are built on cloud native architecture. So being able to take advantage of those architecture. Also with the SaaS model, very important to have a SaaS model. More and more, you will need to connect SaaS application, so you need an integration tool that will be able to provide a SaaS model. So most of the time, a pay-as-you-go model. Event-driven capabilities, of course, as we mentioned earlier, it's important to be able to build an event-driven architecture. So your iPaaS must be event-driven, and of course, observability. Then again, you can, if we propose a standard architecture, it can be built with a toolbox like Workato, which is an iPaaS, an automation platform, and add Datadog on top of Workato to be able to observe and monitor all the workflow you will build with Workato. So how do I choose? So we have the integration as code on one hand, the integration automation platform on the other. How do I choose? So the way you will choose is it will depend on the mostly on your needs on one hand, but also on what kind of teams you have to work with you. If you are, if we look at this slides, on one, it will show the advantage of both technology. On one hand, if you look at the integration as code, yes, you will have multiple solutions to integrate, but you will have open technologies. You will reuse standard and existing tools, plus most of the time coding language like Rust, Java, Python. Will most of the time also have best performance because you will have a lower level technology. You can reuse dev libraries for like Camel, for instance. Um, of course, you will have a pro code approach, so more close to the code itself. And of course, you can use ChatGPT as a copilot to help you to develop your process. On the other hand, if you look at iPaaS, it also have a lot of pros. Like it's all inclusive. You don't have to integrate solution to build your integration framework. Everything is in the same toolbox, but it's most of the time proprietary. So you don't have it's not open source. You will have specific tools. So you will have to learn how to use those tools, but you will have a fastest learning curve. It's easier most of the time to use the graphical studio and designers that are providing the software vendor of iPaaS. Most of the time, also, you will have pre-built assets. You will have pre-built connectors to connect to standard application like ERPs or CRM or whatever, Databases. You will sometimes have pre-built workflows as well. For instance, if you want to connect Workday to Salesforce, most of the time you will have a pre-built workflows existing in those toolbox. And you have, of course, this no-code, low-code approach will also allow you to put those tools in the hand of non-techie or too techie guys or developers. Again, citizen developers, business analysts can use those tools to at least develop simple workflows. And more, they are providing AI copilot to assist you in development of workflows. Thank you. If you have questions, you can ask them directly using my LinkedIn account. So again, here is the QR code to my LinkedIn account. So feel free to connect and to send me a message. Thank you.